What is up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Skyrim Special Edition Mods Weekly. So it actually has been quite a while since the last episode of this series. Is going to be a bit of a 2-weeker, more or less. What I normally do with the series is cover 1 week of mods. This one's actually going to be covering 2 weeks of mods because there really wasn't that many releases last week. And in general, even this week, there hasn't been a ton of new releases in Skyrim modding. With that being said, we still did get some quality released mods. There are fewer releases, but that doesn't mean everything coming out is horrible or bad. There are still some, again, very good mods, and that's what I'm going to be showing you guys today. If you do enjoy the series, I do encourage you to consider subscribing, but with all that being said, let's just jump straight into it. So the first mod I do want to show you guys is going to be Royal Armory. This is going to be a new mod by Private Eye. I've covered some of his mods before. Unfortunately, for the time being, it is PC only. Before making my standalone video, I did message him and ask him, and he did say that he does plan on porting it over to Xbox One once he kind of figures out how to do that. Regardless, this is actually a very cool mod. What this is going to add in is really standalone weapons for a lot of the unique and just notable NPCs in the game. So currently, the way NPC weapons work is they normally are just going to be carrying a weapon that you also have, like a steel sword, or maybe some of the higher up ones will have Daedric weaponry. Well, this mod's going to change all of that. So now a lot of the famous or otherwise well-known NPCs will have some of these new kind of custom weapons with custom textures as well as custom models. These look a lot more unique and a lot cooler than some of the other options. Some of them are very simple, but all of these are, again, in my eyes, a huge improvement over just kind of the vanilla weapons. Even slight modifications to the weapons make them really just stand out and feel special, whether that being having that NPC as your companion, killing them and taking their weapon so you could use it as your own. Both of these make it really just feel like a treat and a reward to interact and use that NPC's weapon, which is something that was otherwise lacking to the game, because when you kill kind of the king of the castle, you think he's going to have something better than a steel sword. Well, this mod's going to make that a reality, and I definitely think it's a huge improvement over the game. Next up, we have Tamriel Reloaded HD. This is going to be a brand new kind of texture pack mod, overhauling some of the different textures in the game of kind of a very specific set of areas. This mod's actually going to cover a lot of the towns, like those smaller little villages in the game. It also does have some other kind of branching features, which kind of stand out a little bit, like it does change the floors of Solitude and Whiterun, which that's it, just the floor. Regardless, the textures overhauled by this mod are immediately noticeable and actually really high quality, especially in some of the villages. It adds in a lot of variation between village to village, and even just in general, some of the wood textures, as you can see here, just kind of look a little bit different. They're not just a flat wood texture like other texture mods would add. This one has a bit of kind of a gradient or a pattern, I guess. I'm not really sure how you would describe that, but there's some stuff going on this floor here, and it does change as you go from one point to the other. Again, it just gives me just more of a realistic vibe. It feels like something that was used and kind of walked over for years and years, not something that was just kind of plastered on real quickly. All around, I actually think this is going to be one of the better texture pack mods out there. I just think the changes this makes are a little bit less kind of standard as compared to some of the other ones. It has a little bit more variety and uniqueness to it, which I definitely like, and again, it makes it stand out from the pack. Next up, we do have the Berserk, I'm not even going to attempt to say that name, armor. The last Berserk armor to come out was the Berserk Guts armor. I was actually a huge fan of that. That was one of my favorite armors for Skyrim Special Edition for a very long time, and in a lot of my older videos, you can see me using it. This armor is equally high quality, and actually, you wouldn't at first glance kind of think it is. Some of the screenshots, although they are definitely nice looking, don't do it justice. When you actually get up close and personal with this armor, there is a high texture fidelity here, and even a lot higher than some of the other armors, and definitely higher than vanilla armors. All around, this armor is going to be based off the armor from the Berserk series. This is an anime series. I don't know much about it, but regardless, the armor itself in Skyrim does fit in very well. It has a bunch of kind of throwing knives on the armor, as well as kind of a big knife around the back of the armor with a cape and some different options for the armor. You can change some of the gauntlets and boots there, although large in part has the same look and feel behind it. Definitely, again, going to be a very high quality armor. Obviously, this is one of those things where it's like, do you like the way it looks? Well, then download it. If you don't like the way it looks, then don't download it. Personally, I found it to be a very appealing and attractive armor, so obviously I downloaded it. So next up, we have Amorous Adventures. This is a pretty interesting mod. Basically, what this is going to allow you to do is romance a lot of the different NPCs in Skyrim, including a bunch of the different companions. So it's going to add in a fully fledged and fully voiced quest to actually romance your companion. There is actually a number of different kind of tiers and setups with this mod. It does implement with some of the different sex, like actually animated sex mods out there. So if you really want to go the full-on raunchy route, you can do that. Or you can do the clean version where it's just kind of a quest and you're trying to achieve something with your companion. It's not just just going to be like talk to the companion and romance area. Some of them are going to have different limits, and you're going to have to do things first. That is where the quests come into play. You're going to have to go kind of run around and get different things for them, and depending on what the companion requires, you're going to have to maybe go pray to a priest or go buy her some armor. All around, this mod is actually pretty well made, especially the voicing. You could hear like a kind of little glitch in the voicing here and there, but they are really well made. Again, I believe it's reusing a lot of the lines from the vanilla Skyrim, but again, if you're listening or watching the companion talk, it is pretty hard to tell, and it really just feels like they got custom voice actors for this mod. All around, this mod's not going to be for everyone, but definitely is a very high quality and well made mod. There's over 30 quests added by this and 3,500 lines of dialogue, and it definitely is high quality dialogue. So last but certainly not least, we have Redesigned Followers and Redesigned Lydia. So this is going to be a mod that's going to really overhaul all the followers in the game. I'm showing you the Lydia specific version of it, but it does transcend to all the different followers, just kind of making them look a little bit better, changing some of their armor aspects, but with the main thing being just the face of a lot of these different companions does just look a lot better and a lot higher quality. It's a relatively simple mod. Again, it's definitely going to be one of those mods you want to install to your game, even if you're not necessarily using one of the vanilla companions right now, simply because when you do interact with them, and invariably you will at some point, it's going to be a much improved face over the vanilla option. That's pretty much going to wrap it up for this episode of Skyrim Special Edition Mods Weekly. I am really late right now. Like, I have to leave for school in 2 hours. I didn't even really start packing yet, and I still have to let this video render and shower and do all that. So if you guys did watch to this point in the video, let me know by commenting late down below. As always, thank you guys for watching again. I do hope you enjoyed, and I hope to see you all next time. Later.